Welcome to Center Heist Productions. Please hit the likes and subscribe down below in your right hand corner. Thank you to my followers. And it is spring, March 21st, 2025. Yay! All right. Again, share it with your friends and family. Don't leave without subscribing and hitting the likes if you come across the channel. Thank you. And leave your comments on each episode. We like to see what your thoughts are. Keep it respectable. That's what this channel thrives on. Great. We have a very respectable channel that's well been established over 2 years ago. And so, yeah, we take pride in that. And we take pride in we don't get in on like a lot of other podcasts of speaking about Rumorville. We kind of only when we see a dilemma when it's to an extreme that other channels are just going like wildfire, then we'll kind of try to settle things down. But for us, we kind of avoid it until factual information comes down. A deal is done, da 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 da. That factual issues. We take pride in integral information and not just feeding you hogwash to get a like or a hot what do you call it, clickbait. So anyway, we're going to get in on this. This was Montreal in Long Island. This was a game we needed extremely. All games are playoff games right now, and this was a team that was lower in the stands. Yes, they're in this wild card fight too, and they're well coached. We know that with Wa, and they give you a good, honest effort. But we should, when we're in playoff mode, and all of our other rivals lose their games, you got to win this, and we didn't. Now we put up. I'm happy that we played respectable and played hard. There was just a couple of things. Goaltending didn't look sharp at all, and that was the difference. Sorokin stood on his head. Underrated goaltender. He's phenomenal. I've always said that he just doesn't get the credit he deserves. Monty just did not live up to it. A lot of podcasts put out that last night, and they said the same thing that I'm thinking. He's been responsible for a couple of goals a game that he should have. And yes, you got to ride him because unfortunately you've sat Dobish too long. So he looked like he was swimming in his last game. And that's because he's got to get ice time. And in the position they're in right now, they should just send him to Laval and let him play 3 or 4 games. Bring up Primo just to back him up for injury. Monty, don't play him. Just have him there while uh, Dobish gets back in rhythm. Then bring Dobish back up. Because he's sat too long, and I think that's the problem for Dobish, and that's why you do got to ride Monty. But Monty's not looked sharp in the last 2-3 games, allowing a couple goals a game. So I agree with him. But last night's game, I know Marinero said he should have had 2 goals. No, 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 no. I'm going to go farther. He should have had 3 goals, first, third, and fourth. Just going down on your knees and being in tight and stuff. These are shots that he should have had. I know the overtime goal was a 2-on-1. He had to stood up. He doesn't open up the net, and that's going to hit him straight on. I don't know what's. I don't like. I haven't liked um, the style that I'm seeing out of all the four goaltenders we've seen in the last while for whoever's coaching the goaltending. I forget the goaltending coach's name, but I'm not fond of it because I see they drop to their knees far too quick. You wouldn't have seen Dryden handle something like that, some of these shots, or the overtime goal. That way, you wouldn't have seen Waugh handle it to himself. That way, you wouldn't have seen Price handle it. They would have been standing up for that shot. Um, Terrible positioning. Just dropping the continual dropping and over the shoulders goals. It's just, especially when you're weak up top, makes no damn sense. So that I'd like to see. I'm hoping in the future we see Carey Price when he retires take over the goaltending coaching because I'm not fond of what system we're putting our goaltenders into training them wise. I don't like it whatsoever. So yeah, to me, you got to send Dobish just to get him back in rhythm, bring him back up after he gets in rhythm from Laval. But you're going to ride Monty for the time being, at least until you have Dobish back in rhythm. So anyway, we kind of figure they're going to ride him while these are all playoff games. But he's been allowing He's been losing some games for us and crucial times not coming through. Last night was perfect instance of that. He got outplayed and it wasn't even close. Sorokin stood on his head. Monty, you can't allow 3 goals. Sorry. I know we can see Matheson, took a bad penalty and that goal cost us, putting the Islanders back ahead. And then he doesn't cover Horvat on the third goal when they went up, and then they were down 3-1 due to that. And that was two back to back things that fell on Matheson directly. But I'm going to say on Monty as well, because that third goal, I still think Monty could have stopped that. A goaltender in his zone would have stopped that if just by not opening up the net. There's some of these shots that are just because they're dropping to their knees. So that being said, so yeah, Matheson had a couple bonehead plays, but Monty had a lot of boneheaded. 3 goals out of 4. That's not a good performance. And the Habs put on a good performance, but they let up in the neutral zone, and that made a difference too. We outshot them. We should have won this game, and especially where our all of the other rivals lost. This was an opportunity, missed opportunity. I'm saying, and it could be something comes back to bite us. Get the Avalanche coming. We got some real tough competitors, top teams coming up, and we're going to have the Panthers again. You don't think they're going to take us lightly in their next game against us because we've taken a couple games against them. They're going to come to send a message, I'm sure, because it's playoff hockey right now. And Washington just claimed their spot, who we're lining up right now. If we hold on to that second wild card, we'd be lining up against Capitals because they're the first team in the NHL to lock a playoff spot as of last night. And Ovi just keeps scoring. So anyway, with that being said, we need to get back to clogging that neutral zone. We were doing a better job of it before last night, and the defense got scrambled because it was an excellent forecheck by the Islanders. I give them that. They were forechecking very well, but seemed just a bit panicky and scrambly in our own end, and make you got to have plays. Like I said, I can knock Lane Hudson as creating that overtime goal, but at least he was trying to score. But he played some defensive plays in the game that were quite well, and we know what he does offensively. He's phenomenal. I love watching him. But this is 2 games in overtime. He's kind of cost us, but that's not solely on him because Suzuki played that perfectly in between two players, which allowed Monty to focus in on the shooter. What the hell Monty's going down for, I don't get. So to me, Monty should have had that because Suzuki played it so well. So I think we could have still went on, even though it was not a great play Hudson created against us. He's gonna learn from those. That's the thing I like about Hudson. You won't see him make the same mistake twice. But I think he was, he really thought I can fool them, and he got caught by the defense, wrapping him up, basically taking him out of the play. When he tried that, he wanted to fool them because he normally doesn't do it himself. Finish. He usually sends it off to somebody, but I think he was trying to play a little head game and finish it off himself, and he got burnt. And the puck got turned the other way, and you got a 2-on-1, and Lane's far too slow to catch up to the play. But Nick played that well. Nick, hats off to the captain, played it extremely well. And Monty should have had that goal. That's, like I say, goal one. You go look at the clips. The only goal, Holmstrom's goal, only because had the accuracy and pep that Lonnie's shots have. That kid's going to be good, and I think it's because we didn't expect that goal ended up in. We didn't take him seriously because we didn't know enough about him. We'll take him serious the next time because that kid's going to be. He's got quite a shot, but that's the only goal out of all 4 goals that should have went in on Monty. The other 3, Monty should have had them. That's concerning for me because we don't have anybody else to go to at the moment because Dobish is not in rhythm because he was swimming in his last game, and that's from sitting. Just simple as that. You can't just sit the guy, and that's harms their development. I don't like that. To me, send him to Laval for 3 or 4 games, let him get back in rhythm. You bring Primo up only for the fact just to have a second goaltender there. Don't play him. You continue with Monty those 3 or 4 games, no matter what. And then after those 3 or 4 games, you have Dovish back in rhythm, and he comes back up, and then you can send Primo back down. Uh, but that's only due to lack of play. But if you're gonna, I understand that you're gonna die by the veteran and the guy with experience who's played, you know, whatever. But we got to get back. It was a good effort, just wasn't our best. Um, like I said, we seen Lane Hudson. There was a play in the third period, and that's what I wanted to see. You see him come back, and he just flies out, and then he rips it up the board to clear it out. He makes sure it's cleared out of his zone. That's what we need to be doing. It's not this dipsy doodle past little touches, and they're intercepting the puck. I can't stand seeing that. When you're in desperation, when you've been in your zone a long time and stuff, get the puck out. If it's iced, it's iced. This mentality of dipsy, oh, we'll play around with it in our own zone. You're only shooting yourself in the foot because, like I said, that penalty by Mike Matheson, yes, he mauled the player, and then he doesn't take Horvat, although that's both on him and Monty. So that was 2 bonehead plays by Matheson. He didn't have a perfect night last night. He's played much better before that last night. But we were scrambling in our own end. This is on everybody, and our forwards helping wise because we know that Anderson didn't pick up his man on the first goal. Although Monty should have had that one. Some of these goals just baffles my brain how they're going in, just soft as hell. And then you get a guy that faces 40 some odd shots, and you got a 4-3 victory. Uh, so you had Horvat gets 2 goals. Sorokin makes 38 saves. What can you say? Scoring summary: Duclair scores by Lee and Peugeot on the power play. Um, and our penalty kill, what happened to it? I don't know. That was at 5:37. Joshua Waugh. This is the best game Joshua Waugh has had since he's been back up. Nice to see him get a goal. His first goal of the season, assisted by Jaden Struble and Lonnie. And nice to see Jaden did the right thing, put it on a net, and that allowed Waugh to get one. This was the best effort from Waugh because he has not been grabbing his opportunity. I've said it. But he's still got a long ways to go. Just because he scored a goal, he did look better last night. But he's really got to pick it up if he plans on ever taking a spot in Montreal. So you got 1-1 there. Then we go in the second period, and then we get this is where Mike Matheson takes that stupid penalty at 16:40 in second period. Holmstrom with what a shot. But I do think Monty wasn't going to see this. Right over the glove, assisted by Dobson, and D'Angelo's print was all over this power play, and that's 2 power play goals. That's not like Montreal, so they better work on the special teams before the Avalanche because neither ends were perfect, especially the penalty kill was kind of really off. And then we get third period, and this is on Mike Matheson and Monty. Monty should have had this one, assisted by Dobson and Sorokin, who was phenomenal. And then, thank goodness, on the power play, Patrick Lonnie scores, assisted by Suzuki on the power play. They tried to challenge it, and because Slab was knocked down in the crease area, but when they got back up, he was outside of the crease. So there was 2 things: Sorokin was going the wrong way and was out of the crease. That's only interference when you're in the crease. The blue paint, and they got to clarify that the blue paint, so that people aren't all confused. That wasn't even close. Just like Suzuki's goal, I don't know how people said it was close. That wasn't close. That was when you see certain angle on that, he was well offside. So let's get our act together and focus on what's what. So anyway, nice to see us get back into it. We were down 3-1, and we get into 3-2 with that goal. Wall takes a penalty for the team. by that challenge and lost the challenge. But we didn't capitalize on the power play, of course. But thank God for nice. You had Galley and Anderson going after the play with, and I forget who the Islanders player who was, and Anderson ended up they kind of bumped into took each other out basically, and then Galley has a clear puck and carries it, and then the got player back, the defenseman falls, trips and falls over his feet. Great for Galley, he was flying, and nice goal by Galley to tie this thing up. This guy's the pulse, heartbeat, and he scores this one with a shot when he's in flight while he's moving his feet. This was a great shot. Love Galley, and like I say, heartfelt condolences to Galley and his family because it's hard to lose. He lost his mom the week of the Flames, the game against the Flames, and that's hard. I know I lost both parents. You don't get over that stuff, but he's playing with a lot of heart. So that ties things up. We were fortunate to get the point, but we needed the 2 points. Overtime comes 3:36, and we see Lane Hudson make the bad choice of trying to do this when it just wasn't. I know he was thinking of getting in their head and trying something that they wouldn't be ready for, but they had him played too positionally sound on that, and he gets caught up the ice, and that they pass the puck up very quickly, and that sets up an odd man rush the other way, and Lane Hudson can't catch up. Lonnie's chasing, but not fast enough. So you got Nick Suzuki, who's the only guy back on a 2-on-1. Nick Suzuki plays that quite well and allows it to be on the goalie to take the shooter, which is Monty. Again, don't open the upper part of the net going down all the time, and that's a stoppable shot. So even that overtime goal is a stoppable shot, even though it was a 2-on-1. Shouldn't have happened. Shouldn't He could have stopped it easily. When a player plays to play defensively that well, and responsibility at that point transfers to the goaltender on the shooter. Not happy with Monty's play. Now, again, what choice do you have at the moment? Because Dobish has lost his rhythm with sitting so much. So that's why I say he needs to get some games in. And I would send him to Laval for 3 or 4 games. That's just to get his rhythm back. You don't play Primo when he comes up. He's just there for injury. And then 3 or 4 games after Dobish has got his rhythm, then you bring Dobish back up, and that's that. At least he's up to par, not sat so much. So anyway, because they're going to ride as much as majority of those games are going to go to Monty, because he's kind of got played a lot of those games to get them there in a big way. So even though he's been shaky the last 3 games, letting in some bad goals. That can't continue. These are playoff games, and then we got the Avalanche coming. This is not a good scenario for us. I hope we look at our special teams mega. We got to stand on our heads to win this game, and we need those 2 points. We This is a missed opportunity, not grabbing 2 points from the Islanders. Yes, we fought back, and we had so many shots. Sorokin, I mean, just phenomenal. Played phenomenal. And Bo Horvat had a great game. And that Holmstrom kid, he's good. He's good. And Palek, Palais, or what is his name? Anyway, he had a great game too. So that's just, or Page. Pajot had a good game. So they played well. They forechecked well. That's what they did. But if we had have clogged up the neutral zone better, I think, and responded better in our own end instead of panicking, I think we would have come out on top. However, at some point, your goaltender's got to make a save, and that didn't happen in this game. You can't have 3 goals, or even 2. Then, like a lot of people say 2, I say 3. You can't have that. There's a point your goaltender's got to make a stop, and that didn't happen. So between the goaltending, plug up that neutral zone, and you'll be all right. Because they still fought and played it heartful. It's just that we didn't clog the neutral zone as well, and a little bit of sloppiness in our own end, and got to watch the penalties. And like I said, let's pray our goaltenders settle down. Monty starts stopping what he should be. So thank you for watching. Go Habs go. At least we got the point. But boy, we got a tough challenge. Avalanche Saturday. We'll be back in that one. You seen it here. We're at Center Ice Productions where the puck drops first. We'll catch you in the next one. Leave your comment. Keep it respectable. God bless.